Welcome to the Morrison Report podcast. Today we are speaking with real estate agent Travis Comstock. He is with Remax Oceanside in Costa Rica. How is life in sunny Costa Rica, Travis?
It's good. It's actually sunny right now. It's rainy season, so probably in about an hour we'll get a little bit of rain or a lot of bit of rain. But no, it's good. We were back in the States for half of August and half of September, and man, it was awesome. Just come in at that cooler temperature. You kind of you forget what that's like. I think the low here the last couple of days have been like 78, and that's like at 2 a.m. So it's hot.
Wow.
It's hot, but it's good. You get your exercise done early, and we're up every day at 5 a.m. No lie, but sometimes we're in bed at 7:38 p.m. So.
Oh, wow. But I'm assuming you're by the water, right? So If it's 80 degrees, you're by the water. It's not a bad thing, right?
No, I mean, it's hot and humid. I feel like where you really notice the difference is just 10 minutes, 15 minutes from the beach. You start climbing into the mountains, and that's a whole nother, that's a game changer. It's much cooler temperatures right now, a lot rainier, but
right.
I always say if you're active, be done by 7 a.m. because it's a whole nother world. 7:30 at the latest. So
nice. So talk to us a little bit about what's happening with real estate in Costa Rica.
So it is, it's different from area to area. Where I'm at is called Jacó Beach. It's on the Central Pacific coast. For anyone listening that hasn't been there, if you're Googling it, it's Jaco, but it's pronounced Jacó. It's real estate here, and it's specific to our area. I'd be lying if I said it hasn't slowed down since last year. I was just at a conference in Miami with agents from all over Central America and the Caribbean islands, and not one person did not say that. I mean, I think the world is slowing a little bit. I think obviously I don't need to point out what's going on with, uncertainty, unrest. The thing I have noticed, though, with regards to transactions is less this year, but higher dollar transactions. And something I can kind of equate to that right now is the lowest season that we have in terms of population, in terms of tourists coming. October, November, traditionally slow. But what I'm seeing is buyers coming in. I'm in fact meeting with 3 or 4 next week. And I would say these are the more serious buyers who've been here before. They know the right time to come in the low season because it's easy to stay here. It's easy to navigate. Roads are not as easy. And they know a lot of times right before peak season, you may be able to get a deal before that property remains on the market for peak season, because a lot of times rates won't come down at that rate, or they even go up a little bit. And that's just because so many tourists are coming into town beginning about mid-December. And that's our busy season, mid-December all the way through April.
Right. Yeah, which I think is typical for any sort of Caribbean or Central American hotspot, that would be the typical high season. It's when all of us people in North America get cold.
Exactly.
Because the weather gets cold and we're like, we got to get out of here. So we head south.
I always say follow the trends in the States. May is not too busy. Early June, you got a lot of high school graduations, you got parties, and then boom, once those are over, June, July, August really pick up. And then you go into kind of that spell that we're in now, which one thing about Jacó, I will say, to kind of circle back on your question, it is a lot different from a lot of beach towns, like let's say in Guanacaste, which is way up north, or the Osa Peninsula, which is way south, because we're 90 minutes away from San Jose, which is the capital city of Costa Rica, big metropolitan city. So with that being only 90 minutes away, it's the closest beach town to a whole population that is local. So we have a local economy here. We have a local vibe. We have tons of tourists. So you get a little bit of everything, which really helps. Some of the beach towns in Costa Rica don't have a major city close to them. So they, really, really struggle a lot more than Jacó does, because we have that local and the tourist kind of vibe.
Interesting. So in Canada right now, a lot of people who own houses in Arizona and Florida are selling them, and they're looking for other places to go. Have you seen any of those people in Costa Rica, sort of Canadians who are saying, we're done with Arizona and Florida and they're looking for Costa Rica?
Quite a bit, especially it seems like Florida. I'm seeing influx of people from Florida in general. I mean, it's a lot of people being priced out. I just had a conversation with actually from Toronto, 2 days ago. And they were, fed up at a lot of things in Canada, weather being one, which I know you can't control, but they just felt like they're getting priced out, and they're coming down
Right.
here. They're seeing beachfront condo. I just saw one today, directly on the beach, just listed, 2 bedroom, 2 bath, ocean views, nice development, 289,000. So that's kind
Oh
of,
my God.
and you can get anywhere from that all the way up to multi-millions, obviously, depending on the size, development, if it's a penthouse location. But the entry point to get in Jacó is awesome. I mean, there's a new development coming up right now called Solea Jacó. It'll be done probably about a year from now, late next year. But 303,000 will get you 2 bedroom, 2 bath. It only goes up from there, but the highest in that entire building is like 550,000 for the penthouse. So
Wow.
what we're seeing is in Jacó is a lot of new builds. People are nervous that maybe they're overbuilding, but I can tell you, if it's a quality product by a quality builder, it sells. We just had a new development released maybe 3 months ago, and 42 units. So a little bit on the smaller side compared to what's going on, but 29 days sold out. So
Wow.
people are still buying. Again, there's a slowdown. And I think, we had the COVID launch, and I think we're kind of returning to what we'll call normality.
Right.
2019 would be the easiest year to benchmark, and we are outperforming 2019. So I know we're removing a lot of years there, but there was so much pent up demand, COVID forcing people down here.
Yeah.
Prices went up. I think they're remaining level right now.
And like Jacó, compared to like, what's the, maybe the most expensive part of Costa Rica in terms of different, whether it's a town or something or a city? What would be like if you had big bucks? It's the area that got first developed for vacation owners. What would that top area be? Or I guess most expensive area be?
I mean, it's certainly in Jacó, we have very expensive areas. If you want to get like real more expensive, some of I call it like kind of the old school money, Manuel Antonio, which is a huge national park that's about an hour south of us.
Okay.
Beautiful weather, beautiful scenery. The prices are just out of control, though, what I would call out of control. So again,
Right.
kind of brings people back to Jacó. Another very popular area is Guanacaste. That's one of the regions in Costa Rica. Again, beautiful beaches, kind of easy to get to from a lot of airports, but just expensive. I mean, it's growing astronomically up there.
So then would Jacó be considered like an up and coming area? That's kind of why I was sort of asking about like what the sort of top go to, like, is it sort of up and coming and that's why those prices are so cheap? I mean, under $300,000 for a condo is incredible.
Yeah, I think it's still up and coming. I mean, it's a well-established beach town, but you're seeing a lot of change right now. You're seeing a lot of new condos being built with amenities that are more designed for Canadians, for Americans. For example, like a gym, a dog park walk, just some of the common things that people expect now.
Right.
So I think it's turning. I think it really is. I think it's a market that's becoming a little bit more luxury, and that's something Jacó needs, is a little bit more of the luxury market to
Right.
get more people here.
And, I'm always a big fan of being walking distance to things. Like, is Jacó the kind of place where you need a car or can you walk around?
It is awesome. It's about 2.5 mile stretch. So depending on where you're at on the beach, you may want to get a bike or a golf cart, because like I said, it gets extremely hot. But no, it is an extremely walkable city. I have a lot of people coming in on, vacation or look at property. And a lot of times I'll set them up with a personal driver. They don't even need a car. Or what they'll do is come to Jacó, because that drive from the airport's not easy. And then they'll rent a car here, go down to Manuel Antonio for a day, maybe, check out the Monteverde Cloud Forest or whatnot. But no,
Right.
for Jacó, you do not need a car. Absolutely not. And there's taxis,
Right. I love it.
Uber.
You can drive a golf cart around. I love that.
Yeah, that's the number one, probably a vehicle of Jacó.
Oh, really?
That and motorcycles. Yeah, no, it's cool. A lot of people, a lot of Canadians in our building, they have a golf cart here. They're here 6 on, 6 off. And when they get here, they pull the cover off their golf cart and voila, they're taken care of for the next 6 months.
So people are buying their own golf carts, or is it not something you can just like rent and just tootle around on a golf cart while you're there?
You can rent it, but if you're coming here religiously year after year, get your own. I mean, much cheaper in the long run. Absolutely.
Okay, so now I'm curious, how much does a golf cart actually cost? I have no idea.
That's I don't know because I haven't shopped one out. We have a Mula is what they call it here, which is a side by side, a Honda Pioneer. Those are extremely expensive. I don't know if I had to guess, maybe 7,000, 8,000, but I'm going to circle back because that's just a guess.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure because I have no idea. I don't know if this is like a 20, 40, $50,000 purchase or what this is.
No,
So.
definitely not. No,
Okay.
that would be more of your off-road four-wheeler type of thing.
So it's actually fairly reasonable. That's wild.
And you got me. I'm curious now, so I will circle back with you on that one.
Okay, sounds good. Talk to me a little bit about people owning houses versus condos in the Costa Rican market, and what does that look like? How expensive are the maintenance fees on condos that people might purchase? That kind of thing.
Yeah, and are you kind of asking for like a vacation rental, like a return on investment, or?
Yeah, exactly.
So normally your beachfront condos are always going to be the best. When you think about people coming on vacation, they want to be on the beach. So if it's a nice maintained condo, a beachfront development, it's always going to outperform anything, obviously not on the beach, a higher price point, obviously, but usually higher appreciation for the owner at the end of it all. What I am starting to see, and those are quick turnovers, a condo is so easy to turn over. I think your biggest moneymaker, if you will probably be your 5 to 6 bedroom villa close to the beach or on the beach. Kind of hard to find. And that's a different type of investor. That is not as easy a turnover. It's more of a business machine. I think a lot of what people are doing here in Jacó is buying their property that they want for themselves. They're going to rent it out when they're not using it. Obviously, they want their money back, but as long as the condo is paying for itself, that seems to be good. You can make more money depending on how comfortable you are dealing with your rental. Meaning, if you're used to the Airbnb like I am, and you don't mind doing your bookings, communicating with guests, boom. Now all you need is someone to kind of go in there and manage it from the standpoint of cleaning it, making sure repairs are there. Some people don't want that. Some people say, I don't, I want to break even or take a little bit home, but my main thing is I do not want to deal with the headache. I don't want to talk to people. I want to give it to a property management. I want to check my bank account each month and see that there's a surplus of money in there. So different ways to do it, but now, to answer your question, though, the beaches are, there's not much more beachfront property left. I am starting to see a push more up into the mountains, and that's what I prefer, where you have ocean view, cooler temperatures, but you're 10 minutes down from the beach. And when I say mountains, it's kind of a hill mountain, but elevation maybe 500 to 600 feet. So it's definitely up there. But I'm starting to see more push towards that. Also, what I'm really starting to see is a lot of people that are planning to retire within, let's say, the next 5 to 10 years. They're coming out, they're identifying a lot that they want, knowing that if you get it now versus 6 years, it's a whole different story. So now they have that part taken care of. As they start coming down more, they can think about building on the lot. If it makes sense, go ahead and move forward with it. Or if not, now they're sitting on a lot that's way more valuable than when they bought it. So they'll release it at that point. But I'm starting to see people kind of do it in steps, if you will.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, my friends and I bought a place in Barbados, and the idea is that put it on Airbnb. So yes, do I communicate with, our guests? Yeah, absolutely. Not a big deal. I think the Airbnb app is, of course, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But it does allow anybody to run a hotel from their phone.
It's you're 100% right. No, it's very handy to have for sure. Yeah. People don't ask a ton of questions, or maybe it's after a while, you make sure you put all the right information out for people so they don't have to ask a ton of questions, Yeah, exactly right. You start learning what questions are coming in, and then you get in front of it.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. And so,
Barbados, is it mainly Airbnb, or are there other platforms that you're seeing?
VRBO.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, Barbados tends to be a lot of British people versus North American people. And so VRBO is actually, I would say, probably more popular than Airbnb. Gotcha. I just use Airbnb because I started using it. I like it more. I just find it far more easier to use. Yep. So when I first started, I did start with VRBO, but then we only had one guest book on it. So I just decided to get rid of the VRBO and just stick with the Airbnb. It was just simpler.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we're probably, I would say 90% Airbnb. You're starting to see a little bit Verbo, but for the most part, it seems like Costa Rica is dominated by the Airbnb market, which, as you said, I kind of like it better. I think the customer service is easy. I've really never had any major issues, with the Airbnb rentals.
Right. No, that makes sense. So in terms of real estate, is it easy for a foreigner to get a mortgage in Costa Rica, or they pretty much need to buy things in cash?
It's a cash market that is becoming a little bit more finance friendly. I'm working with two companies right now in the States who are lending to North Americans. I'm finding out where they're at in the process with Canadians, because that would be valuable information to share with my Canadian clients and yourself. But no, it's becoming more structured to lend to North Americans buying in Costa Rica. There are some, stipulations with that. The interest rates are usually a little bit higher, but for an international investment, it's certainly not bad. So definitely still a cash market, but I'm starting to see more lending become available. And I'm setting up a lot of conference calls with some of these lending institutions and my clients so they can get familiar with it. And the feedback's been great so far. I've had a few people apply for the loan and actually got it. And then I think coming back to the market not being as hot as it was for the last couple of years, starting to see more sellers do financing, usually on a short-term note, like a 2 to 5 year, balloon payment. But that's becoming a lot more popular and a way you can kind of negotiate when you're looking at the property to see if the owner will carry note.
Ah, got it. Okay. So we call that a vendor take back mortgage here in Canada. So that's very interesting that sellers are willing to essentially, help mortgage a buyer who's, It's interesting that the sellers just don't want their money out, because that's the thing about doing a mortgage like that. It means the seller doesn't get their money out. They'll get a return on their money.
Yeah. And I think it's where that seller's at. Exactly. Do they need the cash right away? Are they okay carrying the note, knowing that maybe they could get the property back, or maybe that's a way to really get their property moved would be incentivize a buyer to,
Interesting. Now, when someone goes through the legal documents for Costa Rica in terms of purchasing a place, is it all in Spanish? Is it in Spanish and English? What's that look like?
I mean, to be recorded in the National Registry, it needs to be in Spanish. A lot of the contracts we use are in English. Obviously now with, the technology of ChatGPT and all this stuff, it's so easy to, make a document in Spanish look good in English, but to be official here, it's Spanish language.
Spanish. And do you speak Spanish?
Un poco. Very little. I won't even try it with you. I am getting better at hearing it. That's the first thing that's starting to come to me. I'm guilty of not trying it enough. I'll be so set to say something or prepare, and then it's my turn or I'm ordering and I just wing it in the English language. One of the things here on the coast, though, a lot of people are bilingual, which is good. And you're not forced to learn it right away. So that's the bad part. Good part is I can go out and have communication with people, and they're very forgiving here. If you try, which like I said, I need to, and it's not perfect, it's okay. And they'll even help you with it. So it's interesting. I've been told though, Costa Rica Spanish is some of the quickest Spanish, fastest with some of the slang. So I don't know if we're in the easiest country to learn it fluently, but I did notice we went to Colombia and Mexico recently, and I heard it much better there. And you could, get a little bit easier. So, but I wonder if coming along.
I wonder if you just need a little bit more alcohol, and then all of a sudden the words will just come out.
I tried that twice. And I don't know. I may try that again tonight. No.
Yeah, because it's funny. So, I mean, I don't really know anything in Spanish, but I do know a little bit of French. And I find if I'm in a place where, like if you're in France or a country where people speak French, get a little alcohol in me. And then I lose that judgment that I have in my head of the way I speak French, and maybe I'm not saying it properly. And then all of a sudden it just comes out. So.
Exactly. And if you look at me, you can tell, I'm not from Costa Rica. So like I said, people are forgiving when I try to speak it, and it's just a matter of, doing it more. We honestly thought moving here, that'd be one of the things you learn right away, but it's a process. And when you're adjusting lifestyle, moving from Chicago to here, there's a new career. There's so much more that kind of takes place first. But I definitely want to sharpen the Spanish skills. Just it's a respectful thing to do, and you're living here, you need to learn the language. So
right,
it's coming.
Duolingo, I would say, is really cool for that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've tried Duolingo or not.
A little bit, and now I'm kind of stuck on this. I guess it would be a podcast where it's more conversational. No memorization whatsoever. And it's kind of just to get the roots down to kind of, that's your foundation. And then from there, you can kind of learn some of the different slang words or whatnot. So
beautiful.
But, yeah, there's a lot of good things to try though. Duolingo is definitely one where a lot of people, learn the basics.
Perfect. Sorry. And I guess it kind of segued. The reason why I was asking about the languages is because, when you're buying in a foreign country, there's legal documents that need to be read. And so there's a question of what language are the legal documents in, and am I going to be able to understand them? So I'm assuming you've got a real estate lawyer that can explain everything to your buyer client so they understand what they're signing.
100%. And even our Remax contracts are in English. So, I mean, again, to be official, it's Spanish, but most everything is easily translated. I work with 2 or 3 really good attorneys. They're all fluent in English. And that's the biggest thing. It's such an easy buying process here, very similar to the States, but you do need a reputable attorney and a reputable agent to make sure everything is transparent, because it's so similar to buying in the States, probably in Canada too, with regards to, it's a notary public that records the deed in the National Registry, and that's protected. That's your property. Biggest thing here is the due diligence process. There's not title insurance. So the biggest thing you have to do for the 30 days, 60 days, whatever that is again, reputable attorney, making sure everything is legit as can be.
Yeah. And we would have something similar for sure about that. Lost my train of thought. I was going to ask you another question. It just escaped me. Sometimes that just happens. I can't really think about it, but yeah. So you're going through the transaction. Do people close within sort of 30, 60, 90 days? Is 30 days too soon in your market? How does that work?
Typically, you nailed it. I think if it's a straight up condo with not much due diligence, because it's already a pre-existing condo standing there, usually the due diligence period is about 15 days. Close in 30 days. Sometimes if we know there's something missing, or maybe take a while to get like a use of suelo, which is a use of land that it describes what you can do once you buy it. Sometimes we'll push that due diligence out just to make sure we have all the information readily in front of us to make sure we close on it. But
no, that makes sense.
Similar. I mean, that's one of the biggest questions I get. How different is it, or what should I prepare myself for? And really it's not. I mean, we use standardized contract. We negotiate the terms. We, enter into a period where your earnest money is due during the due diligence process. If something doesn't look right, smell right, that money is 100% returnable to you. Biggest thing that happened in Costa Rica years ago was the introduction of escrow companies. So now all the money goes to a third party. There's not a dispute. Actually, the buyer is responsible for hiring the escrow company. So it's good. Back in the day, maybe when there wasn't escrow, you would give the money to this attorney to hold, who was the brother-in-law of the guy who, it's just, so escrow has made everything very simple here.
It's interesting because in Canada, we don't have that.
No.
So, when we watch like HGTV and they talk about their buying process, I'm like, yeah, that's not how we do it here. And even quite frankly, when I bought in Barbados, they don't do that there either. No. So that's very interesting. In terms of who is buying the real estate in Costa Rica, like is the predominant group of people Americans, Canadians, other Central Americans, like who are the people that tend to own real estate there?
Predominantly North Americans. Canada's probably right below that. And, because I work mainly with US, clientele, maybe that's skewed. Maybe there's more Canada. For me personally, I see more of a US presence, followed by Canada and Costa Rica, and then Europe. But who's buying that's the thing with Jacó. It's great because we have multiple people buying for different reasons. We have straight up investors that may not come down here a lot. They just want a return on their investment. We have people that I describe as a lifestyle investment. Majority of what my clients are, they want their awesome place on the beach. They're going to use it maybe 2 months, maybe a whole month, and then rent it out.
Right.
Also, I think we're seeing younger buyers. I'm talking lower 30s. And that kind of comes back to what you and I talked about. getting priced out of a market. Where in the States can you go on the beach in a vibrant town and find something for 400, 300,000? It's hard to do, to the point where if people can get the returns right here, some people will buy here, use the money to offset some of their costs back in the States or Canada. So I've seen that a few times. But
I have seen, even in the Toronto market, people buying cottages outside of Toronto, renting those out, and then just renting their own place in the city. But that's their way of getting a foothold into the real estate market, right? Yeah. Buy a vacation place, rent it out, make money there, because whatever city they live in is too expensive for them.
I even have clients, kind of funny, that will rent their place that they bought. And if they're getting a good rate and they want to come, they'll rent somewhere else, a cheaper place, and just keep their place rented. I'm like, that's kind of hard, because don't you want to stay at your own place when you're there? But I guess money talks a lot of times.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I used to have a place in an area that was sort of east of Toronto, another vacation spot. And I wouldn't go up to use it because it was rented. Because I was like, I'd rather it make money than me use it.
Catch 22, right? No, that's a good thing here. Like if you're okay with coming during the rainy season, which most people should be, if you kind of do your homework or talk to someone that knows what the true rainy season is, that's when you can enjoy your condo the most. And then absolutely, once the New Year's, Christmas hits, rent it and get top dollar for it. Those are 2 weeks where you can double or triple what you would normally do in a week, and that being the week of Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, that's tough. Because for me and my partners, we use the house the week of New Year's, because it's because, you know what, we spent all this time and effort and money buying the house. It's like sort of like the 10 days that we do get to use it in high season. Then other than that, yes, we rent it out during high season.
But I'm sure your guys' level of excitement, fun, and the memories you're making is probably better than that money in your pocket. Maybe not, but that's the conversation we have to have with people that are coming here to buy investment properties: is are you going to use it, and when are you going to use it? If you're using it during the high season, you got to expect much lower, because you're not going to get that high dollar money that you would get, December, January, February. So the best thing to do for a lot of people, come during right now when it's rainy season, although it's sunny out right now, and using it when it's not peak season, and then leaving and renting it all peak season. But you got a mix of both. You got a lot of people like, I'll take what I can get, but when I want to use it, that comes first. I'm going to use it when I want to use it, and when I rent it.
No, it makes sense. I mean, I think sometimes people don't understand the benefit of, you buy a place somewhere, and it's not a timeshare, because I'm not really into the whole timeshare thing. But it's nice having a place that you can come to that's yours, that you can invite your friends and family down, right? I think you were just talking about the memories. Yeah, it's the memories you create with your friends in these different destinations that you wouldn't normally get to do before. And I think it's something that you can't really do in a hotel. I think you do it a little bit different in a place that you own. There's three of us that own the place in Barbados, and me and the other girlfriend, we started having a girls' weekend, and we do it over May long weekend, which it's the weekend before Memorial Day if you're American, but for Canadians it's Victoria Day weekend. But it's just a long weekend in May where a lot of people might go north to their cottages in Muskoka and open them up, but it's really not that warm here. And so going with our girlfriends over May long weekend, it's also low season for Barbados. It's like such a great opportunity to create a memory just with your girlfriends of, you know what, let's just go on vacation. And one of them even said to me, they said, I wouldn't be able to afford to do this, like to come down with us, if they had to pay for their accommodations.
Yeah. Yep.
So it is really a nice thing, for people who are listening and sort of on the fence about buying a vacation property. I think that's one of the really nice things, is being able to spend that time with friends and family and create some amazing memories.
Yep, exactly.
Because you've got a place where people can come and stay.
Yep. And a place that exactly. No one's going to argue about a place to stay in Costa Rica at all.
It's true.
No, and that's one of the things that we point out, it's the memories you're going to make. I know you can't put a price on that, but I mean, that first and foremost will always be remembered over, cash in the pocket. So it's a little bit of both. Put cash in the pocket, get an awesome place that you can stay at, make memories with your friends and family, and usually ride that appreciation train. So when you're ready to sell, it's there for you.
Absolutely. And how would you say that real estate in Costa Rica has appreciated maybe in the last 4 or 5 years?
Oh, I'm not trying to bail out, but I think it's so dependent on where you're at.
Okay.
It really is. I think here in Jacó over the last 2 or 3 years, probably a little steady, a little on the incline, but
Yeah.
yeah, and then to answer that, like, who knows, from 19 to COVID, it was probably, I mean, prices went sky high. The supply and demand was way off. But I think you could guess probably about 5 to 6% per year.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Okay.
it's good. And again, it comes down to the product you're buying. And
Yeah.
so,
Absolutely. Beautiful. Anything else you think people should know about buying in Costa Rica before we close things off?
I mean, besides being an easy process, like we already discussed,
Yeah.
it's central time zone. I mean, it's so easy, and we're starting to see a lot more of people coming in working remotely, digital nomads. But it's easy to get here. Usually a direct flight, like from Miami, for example, 2 hours 20 minutes. Houston 3:20. And those are a lot of the places where our clients are coming from, believe it or not. And then it's beautiful. I mean, it's a laid back country. It's the vibe is awesome. The food's amazing. The beaches are awesome. It's the size of West Virginia for people listening in the States. But what's really unique, and you can't drive the whole thing. Driving here is another story we can talk about next time. But but no, I forget where I was going with that. Sorry.
That's okay. It happens.
Yeah, we both have it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, reasons for buying in the country. A safe country. It's central time zone, easy to get to. So much. That's where I was going. So much to do from different parts of the country. I mean, the difference from the South Osa Peninsula to Guanacaste, night and day. So, I mean, you can see so much in this country, whether it's beaches, rainforest, cloud forest, jungle. I mean, it's got
volcano.
Well, there you go. I forgot volcano, Lake Arenal. There's just so many areas. So I think what happens is sometimes people will try to come here and explore too much at one time and not realize that driving here is not the easiest thing to do.
I went to Costa Rica. I can't even remember how it might have been 15 or 20 years ago. It was a long time ago, but I do remember flying into San Jose and then just doing a ton of different tours. So doing the Arenal volcano, going to the rainforest, the Corcovado rainforest, staying down in Osa Peninsula where you were talking about, like, there are so many different things to do. And you're right. It just depends on the kind of trip that you're looking to do.
Yep. 100%. I think if you try to cram in too much, it's not enjoyable. But, usually we tell people try to do a week. If you're coming for a week, a lot of times I'll say go up to Lake Arenal. It's an unbelievable volcanic experience. The views are amazing. It's not on the beach. So when you're done with that, maybe after two nights, come down to Jacó, spend a little bit of time, go down to Manuel Antonio for the national park. So you can see a lot in a week. If you're here for longer than that, have at it. You can go to all four corners. But so one thing I caution people about when they show me their itinerary and it's boom, 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 boom. It's like that. Ooh, good luck. Driving at night here, it's not well lit up, and there's just it's different. It's slower. Behind a school bus, a tractor, 18-wheeler. I mean, I've seen it all.
Yeah, no, absolutely makes sense. Travis, where can people reach you if they've got more questions or they need more information about buying there?
Yeah, I'm on WhatsApp. I'm on regular cell phone number. So US number 614-499-3911. Again, 614-499-3911. And then email is travis@remax-ocr.com.
Okay, there we go. Well, Travis, thank you so much for joining us. For those who missed part one of our interview, please Google and go back to the part one where we really did cover off, I think, more of the basics of buying in Costa Rica. This was, I guess, sort of a part two to the interview that we'd already done. So thank you so much for joining us. Travis, thank you so much for being here. It's been great chatting with you. And thank you so much for listening to the Morrison Report.
You as well. Thanks for having me on. Good seeing you again. I always appreciate it.